Put
Cause I was like,
the
I don't think this is a supernatural show. I
nah.
was like,
I
yeah, I
knew it
was
was a
like, yeah,
dog. Then it took a
yeah,
weird shape. I'm like, the fuck happens to that dog?
yeah. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Irbal Sinergy, the shop. I'm your host, Sinji. With me, as always, my co-host, Bay.
what up?
You know, I've messed around with my editing program so much, I could probably put an echo on that entrance.
If you would like to, don't make no difference to me.
Nah, too much work.
Mm,
It's
why
actually
even
not that
bring it
much
up?
work. I don't
It's,
know. What's up, Irby?
man out here drunk. Same old,
Oh,
doing well
soda.
on this glorious day. You said something about soda?
Yeah, I'm drunk off this soda. I've been drinking. I've been drinking.
Coke and rum.
With minus the rum, I've been sipping. I've been sipping just Coke.
You might have been.
Hmm?
Shoot. But you do what you do, babies.
Yo, you got a flavor?
I do. Um
Is it a good
I'm
one?
it's a little decent one. Let's see. I did like this week how Hawthorne cut through my man Todoroki's attack. I was like, oh, look at Hawthorne go.
Man got a new OP sword.
Yeah, my boy Peach Boy got a new sword. I'm like, look at you, Peach Boy.
This was an
So
episode of Conquering.
it was. I was like, oh, look at Hawthorne. He cutting through hot
Yeah,
knife through butter.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna give it to this week's episode of Weak Hero, or should I say, last week's episode of Weak Hero. Interpret it how
X
you
gonna
guys
give
wanted.
it
The
to you.
last episode of Weak Hero,
You could just say the most recent.
the most recent, last chapter. I don't know, the one you have to pay for, in case you guys ain't paying for them. So if you're reading Weak Hero and you ain't paying for the extra chapters, plug your ears. 'Cause I'm about to reveal something. Fucking Gerard was taking on like 20 people by himself, and Teddy was doing his thing, but Teddy's like a one at a time kind of guy. And then
I like you.
the numbers finally starting to catch up to Gerard because he was facing like a kind of big name, but Forrest Lee's not that much of a big name. And then boom,
Is you
in the
related
end,
to related to Rock Lee?
no. In the
What
end,
about broccoli?
no.
Mm.
And in the end, in the end, there he was. Angry Big Ben.
His brother Little Ben?
I don't think he has a brother.
Dang.
But as long as Week Hero comes out on Wednesday,
Say what, say what, say what?
woo woo. So what would you like to start with, Herbie?
You. Dealer's choice. I'll leave it up to you.
Chojin. You start off with Chojin.
All right, so Chojin, not much there. My main guy, Sandek, he shows up and he has his attack, integral cosmos, um, in the ether or something. And pretty much it attacks everything that the user wants to attack and doesn't harm anything that the user doesn't want to harm. And I thought it was cool here because he said essentially he can skin an apple from the inside out. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So
Sounds OP to me.
yeah, he basically got the kids out. Azuma is taking care of Tokio and Ellie. He told him get them out of there, and they start the fighting. And then the creepy guy that collects people, he pretty much smacked him into the next century. So yeah, not
Yep.
much there.
Yep, very short chapter.
Yeah, so that was that. Not much there. Didn't mind it.
I don't mind.
It's time to celebrate.
Time to celebrate. Okay, all right. So I will proceed with The Sacred Blacksmith, Episode 8, Departure slash Revolution. Again, like children, really not much there.
What? There's a whole bunch there.
What? Like what?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, I wrote one thing down. It's because the whole episode could be remembered with just remembering one concept.
Hmm.
So, Departure and Revolution. I feel like this show started really interesting and has just been on a decline since.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah. But, nonetheless, I didn't give up on it yet. I'm still powering through it. Hopefully something's going to happen next episode. In this episode, it's basically the conclusion of what we're deciding to do with Charlotte and her little gang, her trio gang.
Gang, gang.
And they were given the option to go, basically, I guess, be renegades and like betray the Empire, give up her name, and live free in a different capital, a different city. But she would have to give information on the Empire to them for the
Yeah.
protection.
The garrison state is what they called it.
Yeah, and Charlotte didn't want to do that because she didn't want to betray her mom's legacy and blah blah blah. So it was just turmoil on what they could do because the Empire wants to punish them, and they don't really know what to do.
The real question is, why should she care? Because the Empire essentially turned their back on you. You don't even exist to them.
I feel like
I'm
it might
selling
be.
out.
I feel like it might be one of those situations where she conveniently had blonde hair and blue eyes, so the maybe her mom just told her she was the king's daughter,
But I can also see a king not wanting to claim
a
an
bastard child.
illegitimate child because that's what they do.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see either one happening, but it seems like we're closing the book on this chapter for now. After much turmoil, the band of Trio decided they were gonna steal the demon swords back and kidnap Luke and take Arya from Sicily. And where Sicily got to them before they could steal the swords back, but she was like, "Get your demon swords. I don't want to fight with a demon sword, and you guys don't have any." And they're like, "Are you sure about that?" It's like, "If there's anything about me, I'm not bright. Go get it." It's like, "What?"
Yeah, they
But
were.
go
They
ahead.
couldn't see what she was doing because they were just kind of silly. I'm like, are y'all daft? Like y'all don't understand?
Yeah.
But yeah,
So.
I also thought something too worth noting was when Luke was talking, and essentially he tells he's like, I don't understand because he was talking to Luke about how they don't want to leave to live in the garrison state, and he's like, it really doesn't matter because essentially home is where the heart is, and saying like where the
Mhm.
people are,
And he's
you'll
basically
always
saying
be
you can't.
home.
He also said you can't tell someone not to die without giving them something to live for.
Yeah, so I was like, huh, that's great, great advice. So always have a home somewhere.
So Cicely had her little showdown with the trio, and she actually took them all on one by one and beat them all one by one. Which, if they, excuse me, that kind of happened
Yes.
last time. She was winning her one-on-one battles barely, but she was winning them. It wasn't that they overpowered her until they attacked her together. So why they didn't attack her together, I have no idea. But I digress. Charlotte
Yeah.
comes in on her beating the feistier one, the more the tomboyish one, and
Okay.
what are you doing?
Nothing. I'm listening to you do a rundown.
Oh, my bad. Okay. Carry on, my wayward son. Um, so Charlotte basically she doesn't know what to do, and Cecily's like abandon the empire. Just like you'd have me throw away my mom's legacy, and Charlotte Cicely was basically saying you would rather throw away your friends who are basically your new family, and in a struggle attempt to like a last ditch desperate attempt to like hold on to her decision, she tried to stab Cicely, but Cicely knocked away the knife and slapped the shit out of her and said, "Stop trying to act strong and just follow the path that will lead to your happiness." So they decided they're gonna go betray the Empire, reveal the information, and before they disappear, Charlotte reveals that a man named Siegfried put him up to doing what they were trying to do at our current kingdom and gave them demon swords.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure if they actually went to the Empire, but I know they just left. So, but I did think it was also cool how Cecily used Arya's wind power to propel herself in the fight. I was like, oh, look at you trying to get smart and
Yeah,
use some new weapons and tactics.
other than the wind stuff, she used in the first fight. She made a spear and had like a point of wind, like a bullet of wind fly, pierced the girl on her shoulder.
Yeah, I was like, look at you learning how to fight.
Yeah,
Couldn't be more prouder.
used Arya to propel herself, basically make her like a fucking uh
Missile.
I would say, yeah, like a missile. I was like, it was almost like jousting.
Yeah, that too.
And the last one, she just basically mimicked what the other girl did. She kind of just stuck Arya on the ground and emitted a whole bunch of wind.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, I also thought it was funny how that the kingdom was like, oh well, they left. Oh, just give us the swords and we'll be back on our way. I'm like, what? Like, because to me that's kind of like they knew they just wanted those swords, but they
Mm-hmm.
had to like kind of save face, and it's like, really, y'all terrible people. So, but
What if
yeah,
they left with the swords? They could have done that.
they should have done that. So, but
True.
they didn't, because what y'all need the swords for? And they're like, that was the whole reason. Essentially, they just used them women's to gather up demon swords with no intentions of allowing them back into the Empire. They were just using them,
Mm-hmm.
which was terrible.
It'd be
But
like that,
hey,
man. Life is cruel.
you telling me, dog? I know life is cruel.
Mm-hmm. Shall we move on to a little Eden of the East?
Yeah, that was actually the next on my list there.
Mm.
So this one, it's
Interesting.
it's kind of frustrating because I just want to watch the next one. I'm like, what? This is what you do? I was like, I got to see what happens next, and I was like, I can't. And so,
Yo,
cause I'm like,
did you? I don't know if you noticed this, but I noticed this. I didn't write it down. I don't want to forget. Did you notice at the very towards the end there when he got on the bike, the dog tried to bring out more food and only one came out?
yeah.
I was like, wait, feed the dog.
I was like, oh, that thing empty. You just gonna ride off, homie? That's what you gonna do?
It's like first off, Macy still has food.
Me too. I also he might not have been going that long though. I feel like he might have been going like a day or
Mm-hmm.
something, or he might have wiped his memory and then ended up naked in the United States. Cause I still think that's like an 18. Is it like 18-hour flight or something? I don't know. I couldn't
It's
tell
like
you.
it's about I think it's about half a day. Yeah.
It's because Australia is like a 24-hour flight. So,
Wouldn't
but yeah,
Australia be closer?
the world's a big place, my guy. It's not that close.
I know that, but like, wouldn't Australia be closer than Japan?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Uh huh.
Nope. Yeah. But anyhow, so Eden of the East on the night of the late show. So they're walking. They're trying to get to his place. Trying to figure out where he lives, and they end up passing up some slums, and they get a little uncomfortable. But that's all right. They make it to the destination, and there's some sort of creature that scares them. And it turns out, and well, after he freaks out and falls back and hits a light, it turns out it's just a puppy with wings. And I was like, oh, little puppy dog.
Pup
Cause I was like,
dog.
I don't think this is a supernatural show. I
Nah.
was like,
I
yeah, I
knew it
was
was a
like,
dog. Then it took
yeah,
a weird shape. I'm like, the fuck happens to that dog?
yeah. And so, uh, and so apparently he lives in a mall and he bought the whole place. And I was like, oh, my man, balling. And but we start to learn a little bit more about the phones and stuff a little later on. Cause I was gonna say something, but it comes a little later.
The money thing?
Yeah.
Mm
So he remembers the spot where he took that photo of like the 2,000 people that like disappeared.
hmm. Yeah, quote unquote disappeared.
Yeah, and then so the dog essentially leads them to like where he resides, and it's like a movie room. And I think that Takizawa may have been working here in his past life, previously, life that he erased his memories. And then so
Mm
Takizawa asks Saki if she wants to see a movie, and then she proceeds to relay a story of how she doesn't have a favorite movie, but a story of how she wanted to see a movie because a particular someone she always liked the movie. And meanwhile, the whole policeman is trying to track down old boy, and he's like walking through. He's like, "Oh, he lives here, the old abandoned mall, and this, that, and the other." Thinking about stuff, being very dastardly, if, if one would say so. So then, uh, Saki, she told her friend to lie and said she was staying with her tonight. I'm like, why you gotta lie? Just say where you was at, or if anyone asks, just say you was out. You ain't had to lie.
Well, she didn't tell her very reliable friend.
Yeah, because she was like, I wonder where she's really staying. Everyone just looked at her and was like, huh? Like, come on. That's terrible.
By the way, that detective, he wasn't
Hmm.
a very bright detective.
No, he wasn't. Yeah. I think it was yeah, it was terrible. I was like, man, I had another thing I was gonna say, but I forgot. Uh but yeah, it's like when you tell your friend to call you because their motorcycle blew up, they keep it straight. But yeah,
Nah, man,
so
that makes for an awkward ride.
yeah, so yeah, then the policeman shows up after the movie was set up, and he's talking to Takazawa, and Takazawa's also been monitoring the policeman the whole time on video surveillance. And this part made me mad right here. Takazawa lets the officer Kondo get close and take the phone. I'm like, bro, how you let him get close? You knew he wasn't up to no good when you first came in there. Like, why you not fight him? Why you not get away?
At least he got that badge.
He did. I'm like, bro, what are you doing, guy?
Yo, he got the shit beat out of
He
him.
beat the brakes off him. I'm like, come on, man. And then we find out that they start with 10 billion uh, yen, and it's supposed to change the world. And that's how he was able to afford the mall. And his balance was like what? I think it was like 8 billion something last time.
Mm
So bought them all for 2 billion. And then we find out that it's some sort of game, maybe, and they have to change the world. And then when your balance hits zero, a support comes and kills you.
Well, we don't really know how much he paid for the mall. He's technically been whatever he is for a while because he had enough time to kidnap those
Well, I
whatever.
want to say he did that before, but I'm not sure because I think he might have bought them all and then lured them there, but I don't know.
So
I know
like
he used 2 billion already.
on the yeah, by the time whatever by the time he was in America, 2 billion was already gone, almost 2 billion, because he had eight
Yeah,
something. But the detective towards the end was saying you can use your phone to find more of our kind, but I'm not sure how many of our kind will want to talk to you, you being the worst of them all, considering you were
yeah.
the one that like did that
Oh, that
thing.
was still kind of later, but you know.
I don't know, Rio, my
you
bad.
just jumped a whole bunch of other stuff ahead, but that's all right.
I'm a highlight reel.
Yeah. So, yeah, he swiped his badge and then he meets up and he's gonna go talk to him. And then this is where we find out you can't use the phone because it has fingerprint technology,
That's one of the reasons I called him a bad detective.
which I was like, damn, that's terrible because you just use up the last of your balance. And mind you, this man sent a message to his mistress talking about we have enough money to play with the rest of our lives, which is funny because we'll get to that in a little second. But yeah, so he can't use the phone. He
Okay,
can't
the
really do
second reason
anything.
he's a bad detective.
Yeah. And then so he goes to the meeting point to meet old boy, and this is his wife walks up and he's like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And he was like, "Oh," she was like, "Oh, next time you decide to text someone, you got enough money to play with, text your mistress instead of your wife." And I was like, "Ooh," and then she pulls out a knife, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be bad."
And the third reason he's a bad detective.
Yeah, and then so uh, Takizawa was running through. He ends up bumping to his wife. I was like, "Oh, well." She ain't got no blood on her, but then I was like, "Oh, she might transfer some blood from her to Takizawa, so he might be in trouble." Yeah. So then this is when he tells him there's 10 others like him. And I think he kind of mentioned that he might actually be the supporter, the one that's supposed to kill those people.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, that's crazy. Like I need to know more about this supporter role because it could be him or it couldn't be him. But yeah, continue your train of thought you previously had.
Um, yeah, he was like, I don't know how many people would actually work with you, considering you did that thing with kidnapping those all those people, and then that's
Yeah.
when he had the thought like, oh shit, maybe you're the supporter.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
So
if he's a supporter, it's not gonna really do him much good if without his memory. He let you beat the shit out of him.
yeah. I'm like, man,
But my other thing is the concierge. I forget her name. Starts with a J.
Jaleesa.
Yeah, she seemed a little different with the detective because she seemed like she knew that he took a phone.
Yeah, because she was like, she's like, "Oh, well, it's voice recorded." And she's like, "Why do you ask?" Whatever. He's like, "Oh, just thinking." And da da da. But she knew.
Mm-hmm.
She knew what you was doing, guy.
Well, it's also probably like she told our homie, which I don't really know any of their names.
And Takizawa,
She told Takizawa his remaining balance, so she can probably see the detectives.
everyone else is,
Yeah,
yeah.
their remaining balance. And if the detective knew that you gotta get got when you hit zero, then she knows you gotta get got when you hit zero.
Yeah.
But that leads me to two things. Um, Either Takizawa is not the supporter, or right now there's just no one playing the role of supporter. And here's why I just came to that thought process. So the concierge is supposed to pretty much assist all of these guys, right? She
Hmm.
keeps track of their balance. She makes things happen for them. If she's the one keeping track of their balance, she's most likely the one that sicks the supporter on the people who run out of money. And it stands within reason that as soon as he ran out of money and called her, she knew he tried to take another person's phone because she could probably see where they are as well and could probably track him. It's like, oh, he's these two phones are together, but it's not going to work anyway, so whatever. Now, one reason I feel like Takizawa can't be the supporter is because I feel like she's the one who calls the supporter and like six him onto whoever's broke. Or she knows that Takizawa erased his memory, so there's no point of telling him, hey, go kill this guy. So that's why I think it's either not him or it's just a vacant spot.
It could be, but we don't know. We just gotta watch and find out.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I was like, oh man, I gotta see what happens next. And I started letting it play, and I was like, nah, I can't.
By the way, you predicted that it's on the highlight of this the last episode. You predicted the detective not being able to use Takizawa's phone.
Yeah, I know. This is what I do, baby. I'm him.
Himothy.
Yeah, Timothy Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Dragon Ball Super.
yeah, that's another one. Dragon Ball Super. That craziness.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still not too thrilled about following Goten and Trunks. Actually, mainly Trunks. But
Well, I think that's partly due because of your biases towards Trunks anyway.
no, I don't mind Kid Trunks. I don't like Future Trunks.
Well, they're one and the same.
Future Trunks a pussy.
Well, you call Kid Trunks one too because they're the same.
Like first of all, how did he not know how to turn Super Saiyan?
Who?
Future Trunks. When you first get introduced to Future Trunks, Gohan was the one who taught him how to turn Super Saiyan in the future. I was like, what the fuck do you mean? You only learned how to turn Super Saiyan in the future. You clearly turned into a Super Saiyan as a child.
It's a different timeline now
It is a different timeline, but
because
shit's weird.
essentially Vegeta died um, before even like was old enough to fight. So he never got that training like current Trunks did when he was like 5 years old. When Vegeta's like, "Oh, if you land a punch on me, I take you to the park, whatever." You remember that?
Yeah, but he already knew how to go Super Saiyan prior to that.
Yeah, and I'm saying like he also had Goten too.
Mm-hmm. Goten,
Goten didn't exist in the future timeline.
Goten is dead.
No, he's not dead. He just didn't exist because Goku
Oh,
died.
Goku never planted a seed,
Yeah,
and Goten is like a year younger than Trunks,
so he never had a fighting buddy to do anything.
but they're in the same class. No, they might not be in the same grade.
I don't think they're in the same grade,
I don't
but
think
they
they're in
go
the
to the
same
same
grade.
school. But yeah, so he didn't even exist. So he didn't have anyone to fight with or do anything with. And so
Fucking future Trunks. All right,
yeah,
so this episode was, this chapter was Mai Bulma enrolled Mai into the school with Trunks, and so they walked to school together, and Trunks had more opportunities to like impress Mai or whatever.
what about the computer virus?
Yes, and there was also another exchange student, transfer student,
But
and him and Trunks were like on for the at first like competing just to compete because Trunks wanted to show off in front of Mai, and then I guess Homie wanted to be the best at everything.
yeah, beta.
And then at some point we realized, because Mai was being really suspicious, it's like, no, that man's not human. And then we realized he's one of those androids, and Dr. Giroux's grandson made him Hero or whatever.
Ito, yeah.
And they get suspicious of Trunks, and it becomes a try to expose him, and Trunks is like avoiding him. X really tried to throw a football at him, and he ducked the football by accident, but then hit it up toward the fire extinguisher and doused him. He tried to dump his soup on Trunks, and Trunks just caught all of it in his bowl. It's like, oh, thanks for the extra meal.
Yeah.
So at some point, dude was convinced that Trunks was the person who invaded the quote unquote haunted mansion and stole the disk drive, and decided that he was gonna take it out. But then he saw Goten lifting a car. Like, nope, it's definitely him. Look how strong he is. So he started trying to fight Goten. Trunks transformed and rescued Goten and gave him his watch. It's like, hey, they just finished it this morning. Slip away, put it on or whatever. They start fighting, and he dashes forward, and Mai ends up falling. The disc comes down. It's like, it's her. She has it. So he tries to kidnap Mai. The upper half separates from the lower half because Beta entered Beta 2, which was a robot. And Goten shows up to take care of the lower half of the robot while Trunks goes to chase Mai. Trunks rescues Mai, and Mai actually recognizes it as Trunks, but they don't communicate that.
Does she recognize Trunks, or does she have a moment where she remembers future Trunks and her?
Was that future Trunks?
Yeah, because they showed future Trunks when he carried her before, when she caught her.
Is that
So
Mai
she
from
kind
the
of,
future?
yeah. Remember how they how Pilaf and all of them they got young for some reason or whatever, and they all went back in time, and they end up being like the same age. But like I guess he kind of he saved Little Mai in the future or something too. So I don't know. It's all confusing.
Yes, I'm confused.
Yeah. So
I was wondering why she was a child. 'Cause she's a full blown fucking adult in Dragon Ball.
yeah, you remember when they made that wish like a long time ago? Something happened. They got the hold of the balls and turned themselves into kids again.
But that was in GT.
It's in this timeline too.
Huh.
Yeah, it was something funky, something hinky.
Hanky panky.
Yeah.
But that's essentially how we end that chapter.
Yeah. Saved her, came back. I see you. You see me. I was like, there you go, King. Save her.
Till next month.
For the next 2 months.
Damn.
Yeah, no.
How about some Boruto? I saw a pretty spicy declaration at the end of that chapter.
Boy, let me tell you, I like, man. So it essentially starts off by Kawaki. He thinks that Momo Atatsuki's up to something. So he starts questioning Boruto. He's like, I hear you, Momo. You can say something. And then we find out that Code is using claw monsters because they're like essentially small portions of the Ten Tails, which is all those things that we fought in Shinobi Striker, that game. Those little wooden monsters. Yeah, so he wants to make more an attack Kona with them. They call them claw grimes. And then Ida, Tamare, and Sarada, they go shopping. And they take along Damon and Boruto. And Damon's complaining about not be able to fight strong people or whatever. And then so he ends up seeing Himawari. And to me now that I've seen them, I was like, oh, they kind of look alike. So that's crazy. and so he essentially throws a punch at Himawari, and she like doesn't dodge. He's like, "Why didn't you dodge it? It would have been easy for someone the likes of you." And I was like, "Huh, she's a strong fighter." It's like I felt an intensity from her, but it wasn't evident. And I think Boruto gets the fact that Damon likes his little sister, and he's like, "No, no, we're not gonna let that happen." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, Boruto." So then
But hey, the might hint at Himawari
he's like,
being
she,
being
yeah,
OP.
yeah. I mean, she does have that strong eye, so it only happens when she gets angry enough.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so previously earlier, Kawaki escaped from the people because he had to do some answers, and he ends up at Naruto's house. And essentially, he tells him Naruto that he's going to kill every last Otsutsuki. Naruto's like, every last Otsutsuki, and he was like, every last Otsutsuki. And so
Did you have to whisper it in my ear?
I did. So then that means he's going to kill Boruto too at some point. And they're talking about, he was like, yeah, I have to do it because y'all not going to do it because y'all aren't strong enough to do it. But essentially, it's that they can't. It's not that they can't do it; it's just they won't do it because it's Boruto. And he's
Mm-hmm.
like, since he told Naruto, like, I care about your life more than my life, and this, that, and the other, and you really mean a bunch to me. You allow me to unlock myself and have parts I didn't have before. So, so then he ends up sealing Naruto away in something
It looked like that
after he,
dimension that they basically lost Kurama and the Renegon.
yeah. So I was like, ooh, it's heating up, boy. Who you gonna have to kill first?
Next chapter
Show is next
might be a
chapter.
Boruto versus Kawaki.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited to see where it goes from there. So I'm like, Naruto's getting sealed up. Boruto might get sealed up. So
We shall see.
we will, or maybe we won't, or maybe I shall see, but you won't, because you're not
I'll
about
see
that life.
glimpses.
You're not about that life.
Hey, I've been reading a little bit more and more.
You're not about it.
I think
You
boards will
on
be easier to read if they were shorter and weekly chapters.
yeah, or by or every 2 weeks.
That'd work too.
Yeah,
But
yeah, I enjoy it.
Peach Boy Riverside,
Riverside Boy Peach.
episode 10, Horror and Resentment. Guys, we have 2 episodes left.
That was honor.
Oh, is it Honor?
Yeah, I thought it was honor and resentment.
Hold the fuck on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
Because
Hold
I was
on.
like horror. I was like,
Hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm checking right now, damn it. Hold on.
yeah.
Oops. You guys might hear something in this for a second. No, then we're good. No, horror and resentment. Fuck you, Irby.
You sure?
Yes.
Oh, well.
I know I'm blind, but that is clearly 2 R's.
Is it though?
Yes. But anyway, episode 10, horror and resentment. We find out a couple things when he shows up and saves Hawthorne, and she says it's like she basically was like he was gonna go at that no hesitation, and then like she has like flashback with Hawthorne with long hair. I'm like, oh, my man used to have long hair. I mean, his hair is kind of long now, but like longer hair. And then she goes like, it must be like due to like the adventuring or whatever.
Beach Boy.
Peach Boy.
Yeah.
But she was like, I'm not here to help or fight. I just came to bring you a sword because I saw you were fighting with that wooden thing.
Yeah, and the little crystal ball she uses to watch folks.
Mm-hmm. And she was like, this used to be Frost sword, I guess. So really it's Frost. I was like, it used to be Frost sword? Why do you have it?
That's what I was like. Why does she have that sword? That's
Yeah, it was
strong.
just like First of all, does Fraud know Winnie? Does Fraud know Winnie? Like, there's too much back and forth in this shit.
Yeah, it does get annoying with that.
But anyways, we go to. Speaking of back and forth, instead of resolving our current fight with Hawthorne and Lightning Boy, we go to Fraud and to the bird. When the bird thinks he wins, and then Frog goes partial demon mode,
When the bird think he what?
he wins.
Okay.
What'd you think I said?
No, you said something else, but that's right.
Did I say something else?
You did.
Fuck you,
You
Irbal.
said he said wands. Bird think he wands. I was like, what?
I
So
don't think I said that.
it's all right.
If I
You just
did say it, it's gonna be the highlight clip. What
it's
time?
all
What's
right.
the time stamp? 39. Damn it.
Don't make no difference to me, dog.
So the
I just
bird
putting
thought
that Jersey
the,
education on display.
the bird ogre. Stop. Damn it. Oh shit! I went in red. The bird ogre thinks he wins. Damn it! Now I'm saying. Now I'm not confident in this word anymore.
just go. Go.
No, I can't.
You
Herbie.
can.
The bird think he. I can't speak.
Defeated Frau.
Defeated Frog. Frog. Frog heads up and says, what the fuck was the angels? Atlas must have left her with some power and goes partial demon mode and then kills the bird ogre.
Partial, that was full demon, killed him out. I was like, ooh.
Nah, she didn't have the horn or the wings.
I'm calling it full blooded
I'm
demon
sorry, not
child.
she. They. They didn't have. Why did they say they?
I don't know.
Am I offending Frog?
Who? Well, they haven't said it since, so I don't know.
Oh my god.
Could have just been a thing that happened or
That,
translation error. I don't know.
I don't know. We go over to Meki, who's fighting Shinki, and she determines that she can't win the battle like this, so she uses her wits to overcome. She runs into a wall and makes Shinki think that she's run into a dead end. Shinki then tries to attack and gets his hand stuck in the wall. She pretends to use her cannon, but doesn't actually have it. So it like freaks out Shinki and gives her enough time to circle around him. And then with his back against the wall, she punches him. So apparently the way his power works is he stretches his body doesn't stretch by itself. He stretches his body to avoid a blow. So once she punched him while his back against the wall, she just straight up hit him. There was no avoiding it. And
Yeah.
that
Luffy finally
basically
got knocked out.
that's a little different than Luffy's power. And you can hit Luffy no matter what he's against. He'll stretch. It probably won't hurt.
Nah, Luffy got knocked out. Finally, I seen Luffy take a L.
Damn. Shinki explained that he just didn't want the fuck is Thunder? Oh no, Todoroki to join Meki because he was the first person that like was okay with his presence. Then we go over to Sumeragi, and Sumeragi kind of just let Sally go. Like Sally was like, even without my power, I'm gonna get by you. And it was like, oh, okay, you can go. I won't stop you. It's like, all
Yeah.
right, okay, sure. And then we go over to Hawthorne, whose new OP was just overpowering Todoroki, and it cut through his ultimate lightning move.
Yeah.
After all the fighting was over, everyone had not everyone, because 2 to 3. I didn't think Shinki died from that punch. I'm surprised he died from that punch, but Shinki died from that punch. I knew the bird died.
Yeah, no doubt. He got disemboweled,
Yeah.
dismembered.
So, with Shinki and the bird dead, Todoroki set all. Well, actually, they all had their own recuperating time, and then they had a moment outside, and Sally was basically extending her hand to Todoroki, but Todoroki was too embarrassed to take the hand, so said he'll find his own path, and they go to separate ways. And Meki explained like that's he's too proud to say otherwise, but basically you got the ending you wanted. And we end the episode with Sumuragi killing fucking Todoroki.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was like, man.
So now we'll either jump to the future or jump further into the past, or maybe figure out where the present is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't keep up.
Yeah. And then Makoto, he wakes up from dinky sleep, which you find out one of his powers is to uh people that attack him get terrible nightmares.
Mm-hmm. And he was about to kill the nun ogre,
Yeah. And also they're going to Legendia. It's a new destination.
where discrimination is prohibited.
Yeah. So but yeah. Another thing that made me mad too is how Toroki he confronted Sumeragi. And he said I can trust the humans, but I can't trust him. But then you proceed to let that man get behind your back and get
Yeah,
stabbed.
yeah. I
Like,
don't know.
like what?
Boys will be boys.
I feel like he's like 1,000 years old or something.
But
Really?
Sleepy Ogre saw it.
Yeah. But did he see it if he's really asleep?
Well, his eyes were wide open.
Some people sleep with their eyes open,
I don't think he's one of them.
but how would you know?
Because when we saw him sleeping earlier, his eyes was closed.
Yeah, but doesn't mean that he can't sleep after with his eyes open.
True, I'm just doubtful.
Yeah. So, so yeah, I don't know. Very glass half empty kind of viewer, huh? Yeah.
Um, I'm not sure which one would be the half empty or a half full. Thinking
Yeah.
he's asleep or thinking he's awake.
Hmm. Interesting. But I digress.
shall we? Shall we proceed to the magical revolution of the reincarnated princess and the genius song lady? I'm gonna say
Yes.
that perfectly one day.
And the rainbow magic sword of longing and reminiscence. So this episode starts off with Yuffie opening up a box, which has a key in it, and she is moving out of the castle. And Yuffie has a nightmare, but she lied to Ilya and said she slept well. Like, you was tossing to turn it. That's why she asked. She heard you in there screaming. So, so then we find that Yuffie, she's being summoned to the castle for questioning, and Ilya will accompany her. And we find out that Honest, she goes off on a broom at dawn to do some stuff. And she came back later and she crashed in the garden. And Honest is ready to make her special tool for Yuffie. So they're doing a whole bunch of practical tests. She showed her mana blade, which is pretty cool. It's longer, sleeker. And I guess she's more refined her mana. Next they did a broom, which essentially is like riding a bike in their world per se. And Yuffie says not to let go, but Honest does. And Yuffie doesn't realize that Honest let go until she's flying. And then she looked back, she's like, is this okay? And then Honest is just waving. I'm like, you was doing just fine until you look back and realize your safety net was gone. Like, there's no reason for you to get out of control and crash or do any other stuff. But she did.
Yep,
And so I was like, really? That's what you do?
that's what she does.
And she did it. So we found out that Honest was actually more reckless than she is now in her younger day. I'm like, ooh, that's hard to believe. And so
Is it?
Yuffie's, yeah, because she's pretty reckless now.
I know, but like she's reckless now, but she also has some successful experiments
I just picture her
inventions.
blowing up everything and
That's what I'm
destroying
saying. Like,
everything,
imagine
and
the
it's like,
beginning process when she didn't really understand how to do any of this.
yeah. But I'm like, it's hard to believe because she'd be blowing up stuff now. So I'm like, huh. So so then Yuffie's telling Ilya about Honest. She's trying to understand her, and she said she was like she's so far away from her or something. And I'm like, are you talking about like y'all's happiness level? Because she seems so carefree and not worried about anything, and so at ease with herself, and you aren't.
Mm.
like like she's still putting on airs or doing whatever it takes to be queen per se, or have that composed outlook on everything. I don't know. Just need some more clarification on that.
We shall see
And
as we
then
proceed.
yeah. So then we get to Orphans and Gaunt's, and they're talking about Al and the trial transcripts. Uh, and I'm like, huh. So the tribunal has happened. And I guess it had to do with like how his newly betrothed was treated and all the accusations that happened. And so they questioned Yuffie. She's in there now. And she's like, I don't think I was doing that out of malice, but it's more so out of his righteousness. And this is a quote I liked right here. Gaunt says, those who are intoxicated by their own sense of righteousness tend to become blind to what happens around them. I'm like, okay, just because he thought he was doing the right thing doesn't mean it was the right thing. And that just might not even happen. It might have been fabrication. So he could have came with fabrications in order to justify his righteousness to marry his other woman that he proceeded to like better, I guess. I don't know. Coming up with theories here.
Yeah, just spouting out theories.
Yeah.
What are you, a
So
theorist?
mm, I think it's like a theologist, my guy.
I don't know.
I don't know. I have to look it up. So so then Yuffie, she gives back the key to the Forbidden Library. And Yuffie says she leaves and she says hello to the maids that help her. And Ilya says, there's nothing that bonds you here anymore. And cause I guess she was talking about all the corsets and stuff that like bounded her and constricted her as like being the queen. It's like you don't have any of that anymore. You're free like Miss Honest now. And then Yuffie's sitting in I'm gonna say the living room or the dining quarters. And she barges in on Yuffie enjoying her tea. She
Mm.
probably listening to this podcast at that time, sipping tea. And she has a new sword, which is a cool looking sword. I think it's more like a rapier.
Mm-hmm.
It's like long and slender.
And has the has it almost could be used for
Fencing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but like I think it does suit a rapier.
Yeah. So Yuffie's using it's like, wow, I feel it. It's like it has a little extension of myself in there. She's like, I feel like this is how I feel already. And we find out that Honest, she named the sword Arc on Cell, which means rainbow. And so then they get to the garden and she's laying on Yuffie's lap and essentially she just falls asleep. And Yuffie started crying and such. I was like, oh man,
Wishing she could be
touching
more
moment.
like honest.
Yeah. She's she's carefree.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. I wish I could be like honest, carefree,
Uh,
not worried about anything.
I don't think she's entirely carefree because that moment where she fell off the flying broom, Yuffie, I'm talking about. Honest kind of looked concerned that like Yuffie would be mad and not want to be around her anymore. Like Honest almost looked like she felt like she messed up, which she did. You just let her go, take off on a flying broom by herself, and a bike. The height
I
could kill
mean,
you.
sometimes it happens that way.
Oh my god! But I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, it was good. I'm looking for some fighting and killing stuff now, and I want to see what they say about Al because I feel like we're gonna have to get some information because I think he set her up because he didn't want to do it anyway,
Probably.
and the kingdom was just gonna suffer. But who knows? I don't know anything. I don't even know my name.
But yeah.
Nothing to
So,
say.
Irby, anything you want to talk about, anime related?
Not really. I'd say I'm about to finish up. I finished up Inspector. I did enjoy those last few episodes. I was like, "Oh, this is Battle of the Wits right here, baby." Yeah,
Mm.
and then finished up Konosuba.
Konosuba, you watching Konosuba?
Yep,
I hear that's a good one.
it's okay. No, the protagonist, he's okay. The they make the women characters in there so daggone daft, and one can't even really do anything with attacks. And the other one, she's a Jiraiya. So I'm like, man, geez, couldn't use a little bit more fighting, but yeah,
On
crazy,
the other
craziness.
side here, before season 2 came out, watching that. Tokyo Revengers, the Christmas arc came out. I'm not in a rush to watch that because I read the whole thing.
Did you
Misfit,
now?
Misfit of Demon King Academy season 2 is out.
I'm gonna
Anos,
have to watch that.
the show off goat,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and there's a lot. It seems to be a number of quote unquote isekais, new isekais coming out that are guaranteed to all have the same concept, just different characters and different winding paths. But I'm sure if you're an isekai fan, then they'll all be enjoyable.
Maybe
There's one that seems to be about cooking. There's a whole bunch.
a cooking isekai sounds interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, Irby, anything else?
No, that's about it. Ain't we had too much. Getting people what they
Um
wanted.
Alrighty, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Catch us next week. We'll be here. Peace.
Peace.